because how you describe, right? Chest getting tight. I'm worried. I don't know what's going on. Everything is up in the air. It feels very uncertain. And so because you're feeling that, that's exactly how it would feel as we were discussing the worst case scenario if no job came through. The worst case is, yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be frustrating, all of those emotions. And I'm going to have somewhere to live. I'm going to have food. It's not going to be probably what I want, but like I'll be okay and I'll just restart this process next fall when it opens back up again. It's important to look at the worst case scenario because it tells your brain we have a plan if it happens. We can be certain, even if we can't be certain on what other people are going to do, to be certain that this is what I will do if none of this works out. Because when your anxiety starts to go, you can always remind yourself is there's a plan. And this is the most exhausting work. This is the work that people necessarily don't want to do, right? Because it's easier to say, well, let me just email a bunch of people and let me do a bunch of job application, like get into this very like desperation, graspiness,
Yeah.
urgency. But that won't change at the end of the day, still having to deal with being uncertain. So I'm always a fan of like, what if we just sit with the facts and learn how to sit with the uncertainty of it all, because it's not the last time or the first time that you're going to experience uncertainty. Before I go on, what are your thoughts about that? So that's the measurement. That's how you know the difference between like I'm doing this for me and self-sabotage, because you're thinking about your health, your holistic well-being. To me, self-sabotage would have been, oh, you know what, okay, so you want to move this fast, yeah, I can move things around and end up in the hospital and can't do either the interview or the defense.
No.
That's self-sabotage, right? It's like thinking about what is your long-term goal. To be that doctor means like I prioritize myself, and I'll combine both of these points that you were saying. This is where our faith comes in, right? Because it says, right, the good book says, like, what's for you is for you. Not if you betray yourself, damage yourself, harm yourself in the process. No, what's for you is for you. And to me, how I think about be that doctor is like trusting that what's for me is for me, that sure, that's what they want, but that's not in the best interest. And so if that means that this doesn't work out, that opportunity, no matter how bad I want it, is not for me.
That's true.
The fun part, but not so fun part, is even after this moment when you are being inundated with millions and millions of requests as a first year faculty or just your first few years, you're gonna have to come back and be like, okay, all of these are amazing opportunities. I would love to do all of these. I can't do all of them.
Right.
How do I make the decision about which ones to say yes to and which ones to say no to? And it goes back to, what do you want? Because I think about optimism and faith working in the favor of the long term. Like, what am I here for? There's clearly, like, if I don't have control over what happens, there's a plan. And if I'm going to get there, I do have control on how I get there. I have control if I show up to that destination, broke down, righty, wheels missing because I was just trying to work myself to the bone, or if I show up prepared to receive and experience everything that was promised to me. You're doing hard work that won't be reflected back to you all the time about what does it mean to put your health first, right? And it may be some reflections of, that's not how this goes, right? That's not how higher ed is. You got to do X, Y, Z, but that doesn't mean it has to be that way. I was just talking to Rashonda Breeden. She used to be in the program, but I don't know if y'all overlapped at all. She is in her first year. She was a postdoc and now she's in her first year. And we were talking about, yeah, like this whole saying no thing is real. Like she even keeps saying no to me. I'm like, I know I coached you in this, but now I'm feeling some type of way. But it's like half of me is like so proud. The other half is like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'll go fix my own feelings. Right? But her like, and her reputation is when she won 3 Dissertation of the Year awards. She's winning grants and whatnot. People love to work with her. But only what people don't talk about is the shadow side of that is people are constantly wanting you to do something. They're constantly wanting your time. And if you don't have a strong sense of self and what does Fender need? What do I need to not only be at my baseline, but to be at my best? How do I maintain that as well as be aggressive in what I want to pursue in my career? Like that takes a lot of mental work, but it's so rewarding. And you don't have times where you like, oh, I shouldn't have made that decision, or oh, I need to back out of this. That's okay. It's normal. You wouldn't have known had you not done it. But you just the amount of growth I've seen since you joining the program, like I have no worries about this. And so me saying good news and bad news is that part of it is you have to sit through the uncomfortableness because you're going towards a big milestone. It's like the
Right.
Olympics of school, of education. You can be a whole doctor. And then it's like, and what happens next? Do I have a job? I don't know. If you were not feeling uncertain, I'd be a little bit concerned, but it doesn't mean anything has gone wrong.